Hey, hey peeps, I just wanted to do a quick addendum to that last video. I was a little vague on the projected points for players and stuff in the order because I just don't want to give it all away, the stuff I'm using, things like that. But I tend to give a little more detail as the week goes along. But what I went ahead and back here and did was I sort of grouped them into tiers based on their projected points, but then they're still in alphabetical order and they're not showing the exact totals. But you can see all these are projected 19 points or higher, which is actually a lot of quarterbacks compared to what they normally project at that total. And the top tier is sort of like these guys, so Burrow up there. Then I bolded ones that are a little noteworthy. So like in this group, Carr, Dak, Geno Smith again, and Tua coming back, assuming he's healthy, pop right into there, and nobody else. On the running backs, the top, now, I mean, some of these tiers are, it can be iffy who's in what tier based on the numbers, but this is how I grouped them. So up here you have Jacobs and Stevenson both in the top tier. Meanwhile, Barkley is not in the top tier, or Henry, or Kamara, or Taylor. But Mostert is, and Walker is in the second tier. So these guys are all second tier. Then Chubb is not in the top two tiers. He's in the third tier, as is Aaron Jones. And you can see the other names: Benjamin, Montgomery, Pierce, Swift on his return, Hall. On the wide receivers, again, sort of made it a small top tier. Note the Debo's on there, Chase, Tyreek Hill. So they like Miami, which they did when Tua was healthy too, including Mostert. So they have Tua, Mostert, Hill, and Waddle high. They also like the Bengals. They have Burrow, Mixon pretty high, Mixon high. I didn't even realize that. Mixon, Chase, and Higgins. So I guess you could say like those are their two keys. They also like Chargers high, but those would be the two that jump out. So Hill and Debo, and then in the second tier you have Higgins again, like I mentioned, and Kirk. They've tended to like Kirk and Cooks a lot this year, and they haven't really delivered that much, but they tend to have them pretty high, and Cooper. And then Waddle, as I mentioned, going with that. Then down in the third tier, they have Lamb, so not that high for him. DeAndre Hopkins on his return game doing pretty well. Allen on his return game doing pretty well. Ayuk having another good week or decent week. Evans not very high, really. I mean, relatively. Depends on how you look at things. On the tight ends, obviously Andrews and Kelsey are in the top group. Then this whole group is pretty bunched. I'd say the biggest name that jumps out there that you might not expect is Tanyan. The defense is pretty bunched, as I mentioned, but these three were pretty far above the rest, if I remember correctly. So they're really, I mean, between the Miami and they're expecting Miami to put it on the Steelers, like points and not letting up points. So they're expecting that to be a big blowout, it looks like, to me. On the kickers, here's the actual draft, what's showing for DraftKings year-to-date totals. I don't have projections on them. But you can see Carlson's above the pack currently. Who knows how long that'll stand, but he's pretty clear above. And these all go from 9 to 10.5, which isn't bad. But that's it. I just wanted to add that little quick extra information. So you can see like the top superstar in the top tier non-superstar would be Burrow. Here would be Fournette, Jacobs, Mixon, and Stevenson. There would be Hill. There would be Andrews, Kelsey. And the defenses, and then you can see in the second tier what non-superstars there are. And like I said, I bolded a few that were a little noteworthy or surprising. All right, that's it. Thanks. Have a good one.